Hey everybody, so T and I got to go see Dawn of the Planet of the Apes last night, and it was pretty rad.
I mean, here's my extremely brief, Twitter length review. If you're on the fence about seeing it, see it. If you were gonna see it, see it.
Okay, so, and if you weren't gonna go see it, maybe think about getting on the fence to go see it.
In which case, I still say see it.
Go see it. I think that we need to give Andy Serkis some kind of award. You know, it can even be a Golden Globe. Doesn't need to be an Oscar. Just get the man nominated because he's so good in this movie. And we've seen all the previews and we've seen Andy Serkis and there's those great side-by-side YouTube videos that show like the raw footage versus the final product. And you really can see the performance. You really can see Andy Serkis in Caesar.
And as we all learned in the recent Things You Didn't Know Planet of the Apes, shameless plug, 90% or something like that of the motion capture was actually done on location in this movie, which has never been done before because they never had the ability to do it.
You can tell that it's an actor on a location performing with other actors.
But moving on to what the movie's actually about, this one more or less picks up a few years after where Rise left off. We've had an apocalypse where, basically monkeypox has wiped out most of the human population. So
the simian flu. Come on. When you call it monkeypox, you
it just sounds adorable. Yeah. But most people are living in these small communes. You don't really know who's still alive, who else is out there. Meanwhile, Caesar's sort of ape community has really managed to build like a nice little Swiss Family Robinson kind of enclave in the woods.
And it's really great. And they have structures in place and buildings and it looks like there's security and Maurice, the big orangutan.
Maurice is my favorite. I was so glad Maurice was back.
Yeah, he's like teaching elementary school to all the little apes. The whole first 20 minutes of the movie is just showing how the ape culture and the ape society has progressed since we last saw them. The opening sequence is them, the apes, hunting as a team. And it's this coordinated attack on this herd of elk or moose or something. I don't know. Whatever is indigenous to San Francisco after the apocalypse. But it's this really great scene because you follow along with what's going on completely without dialogue.
It's really cool too because you see where Caesar is as a leader. It's got a lot of tones of sort of this Greek tragedy because later on there's even like issues with political allegiances, tyranny, Caesar's wifed up, he's got kids, It's really he's come a long way from hanging out in James Franco's attic.
And that's largely what the movie is about. It's about showing the ape society advancing to the point where humanity has come, even to the point where they're having the same sort of political infighting that the humans are having as well.
Yeah.
And so it's this great sort of intersection of apes and humanity sort of being at the same place developmentally.
It's two communities trying to thrive, but they're at odds because the humans are sort of in the worst situation they've been in probably centuries, whereas the apes are able to thrive in a way they never have. But the internal struggles in both groups are very, very parallel, so it's super interesting in that regard.
Because of that, because of all the infighting and everything that's mirrored between the two communities, there's no real bad guy. All the characters are very legitimately motivated. So they do bad things, but they're doing bad things because they're trying to protect their own. Because Gary Oldman in the trailer looks like a bad guy, but he's actually a very relatable human being. And Koba, the sort of Caesar's second in command, looks like a bad guy. But really, like, he's motivated by what he thinks is doing the right thing.
I agree to that to an extent. However, I do feel like once we sort of get the characters on the end point of their arc, in which case that happens a lot sooner for some compared to others, there is no more complexity to a lot of them. I felt like the heroes were relentlessly heroic and good, whereas the bad guys were just relentlessly assholes.
And then Jason Clarke's character, like, every opportunity he gets, he's just like, I'll go do it.
Yeah.
It's like, no, there's like a 98% chance you're going to die, and you don't necessarily have, no, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Because it's right. But I think also, there's a thing that, and you even get a little bit of it in the trailer where you hear Caesar say, like, war has already begun.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, apes have Batman voice.
Yeah.
By the way,
they all have Batman voice.
They all have Batman voice, which is kind of fun. But there's that point that both of these communities are reaching where it's sort of like a point of no return. And that's kind of what Jason Clarke's character and what Caesar's character are all about is they want... This is their one chance to coexist, for the two communities to coexist, and they're the only ones that believe in that. And then they reach a point where it's too late. and that's when everybody becomes good and evil.
Right.
Which is a really interesting thing to say.
There's even a point in the movie where Caesar basically spells it out for the audience. He's like, we have one chance for peace, and this is it. And obviously, you know, mini spoiler, that falls through. Otherwise, there's no movie.
Without that, you don't get rad slow-mo shots of monkeys with, like, wielding 2 machine guns.
Right. I think that was, like, that was the Michael Bay moment of the movie, when there was a monkey on a horse shooting 2 machine guns.
The Michael Bay-gasm.
Yeah.
I mean, that being said, like, the action in the movie is pretty good. Yeah. Like, their monkey fighting is fun to watch. Like,
saying monkey fighting is just fun to say. Saying monkey
fighting is cool. Like, I'm cool with saying monkey fighting, but I'm not cool with monkey pox. I'm learning a lot about where I'm drawing my lines with this movie right now, too.
So at the end of the film, and this is a mini spoiler, they do make it quite clear that, all right, we are laying the groundwork here for what the next movie is going to be about. So they're basically hedging their bet, saying, like, this is what the sequel is. Yeah. So I'm on board. This was one of the few times, and we actually ran into the schmoes at this screening. So what's up, Mark and Christian? Hey. You can check out their review. I'm sure over on their channel. But we all agreed, like, this is one movie where as soon as it was over, we were all ready to see the sequel, like, right then.
Yeah. I think it's like, just let me go get a snack. I'll be right back for 2 more hours. Very early on in the post-production process, probably about the time that the first test screenings were coming back in, Fox went ahead and hired Matt Reeves to start working on the next one. So we know there's one coming up.
And ultimately, we know that these are all prequels to the original Planet of the Apes that started in the 60s. So we sort of know where this is going, but it'll be interesting to see how we get there.
Not really a spoiler alert, but we lose. And we blew it up.
Yeah.
Damn you.
God damn you all to hell.
Damn you all to hell. So, all in all, go see it if you're on the fence. If you didn't want to see it, if you do want to see it, doesn't matter. Go see it.
Just see it.
Because it's worth it. It's landmark. I'm telling you, we're going to look back at this movie in particular as being the one where performance capture really took a step up.
And while we were able to see it in 3D at our screening, it is not worth it unless you just feel like spending an extra $3 or $4. Just see it in 2D.
They don't do anything with the 3D.
No.
It doesn't add anything to the
They don't
experience.
like throw an ape at the screen.
But it's a great movie. Go see it. Come back and let us know what you think of the movie in the comments down below. And come back next time for more movie news on CineFix Now.
Bye. I hate every ape I see, from chimpanzee to chimpanzee.
You'll never... We screwed it up!